I should be good to go. Hello. Just make sure people in my chat, I know there's a delay between what I see and what you all see. Let me just make sure that y'all can hear me good. Good sound quality, good video quality. We are good. Please don't call me Joey. My name is not Joey. Joey is a baby kangaroo. I am not a baby kangaroo. My name is Joseph. Thank you. I don't know what it is about that name, but it just makes me think of baby kangaroos and little kids. Anyway, Satnam, beautiful people, beautiful people, beautiful people. Thank you so much to all y'all that are here live. I am very grateful and hold infinite love and gratitude to all y'all, whether you're here live, my total dedicated followers, and those of y'all that are watching this in the replay, and all y'all that are new and may not be familiar with me. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman, and I am here as a bringer of light, love, wisdom, and truth. And I have some predictions to bring to you today. But first, before we begin with that, please be sure to subscribe down below if you're on YouTube, and hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, ding, ding, and all notifications so that it will ensure that you get notifications for live events and new uploaded videos and premieres of new uploaded videos. Be sure to also, not just this channel, but if you have any other subscribed channels on your YouTube, be sure to go back and double check all consistently, because it seems that YT, YouTube, likes to turn off your notifications when you turn them on. Sometimes they even unsubscribe you. And especially if the channel has anything to do with bringing truth, wisdom, anything like that, yeah, that's what they do. So again, I appreciate that you are all present with me today. I haven't done a live in a while, and I've been wanting to, and I always put out my intention because I've been working really hard on upload videos, producing those, and they take like literally extreme time consuming, and hopefully you all watch them. If not, go to my YouTube channel and check them out. And I have 2-3 more in my mind to work on, but just the past couple of days and the next couple of days, I am very busy with clients and business and just don't have time. So I wanted to go live. And I put out the intention the other day of doing top 10 predictions for the second half of the year and forward, because something I noticed that my followers have pointed out to me over the years is that some of the predictions I make don't happen within that year. Some of them happen a year, sometimes a few years later, especially big ones. But I put out the intention, as I do with my yearly predictions weeks before on New Year's Day. When I do that, then the information starts to flow in from spirit. Before even meditating, back in the day, I used to have to go into trance meditation to get all the information. In the past few years, don't really need to do that. So I put out the intention, and today, literally right after I was done with my clients, because that's when I'm in my, what I call trance spirit mode, all this information just started to flow out to me. I probably have more than 10. And, you know, I put out the intention of, you know, predictions for the second half of the year, maybe, you know, at the most early into 2021. So hopefully that's the way these will pan out. And I'm pretty sure that a majority of them are coming up soon, either in July, maybe even the next couple of days, and then also October and November. So let me actually start and begin with that. Again, I thank you all for subscribing, following me, and for your love and support. It really means the world to me. I wouldn't be able to do something that's so awesome and amazing and that I love so dearly if it weren't for all of you. So let's, I'm going to read exactly like I said, literally after my clients, I just went on this writing spree and all this information started to flow. So I'm going to try to put that out to you because, you know, sometimes I can't even understand my own writing, actually. So it's pretty funny. But actually, I didn't check in. Y'all can hear me good, right? Sounds good. Everything's good. Oh, and let me actually put out a quick thank you to Droney once again. Droney, I hope I said that right. Droney0201 for your, what do they call it? Super chat cash donation. I really hold so much gratitude for that. And also to, I don't know how you like to pronounce it, Diana or Diana. I like Diana because that's the ancient goddess Diana. And thank you for your super cash chat donation as well. And follow the links down below in the description. You can find my Facebook fan page if you're a face bitch person, Instagram, Twitter, all those are down below, and even the PayPal link if you wanted to send something separately without having to give YouTube 30% of that. I think it might even be more than 30%. So let me begin. Top 10 predictions. And, it could happen tomorrow, but I'm thinking, the 29th, because 29th of June is an 11 day. And any all that follow me know about those 11s, which I can only give credit to dear friend Allison Bauman, who is the most fabulous numerologist ever at visiblebynumbers.com. Everything I know and talk about with numbers is only because I learned it from her over the years and being friends with her and having her on my past radio show every month. So 11 days, which is the 11th of the month and the 29th in numerology, because 29, 9 plus 2 is an 11. Those days are very, very often used for disastrous events and things. And the Illuminati Dark Cabal, of course, love to use the power of numerology and astrology. They base everything around that because they are tapped into ancient dark wisdom of the dark part of Atlantis. So I figured the 29th of this month, June, today is the 27th, but I put in my description the 28th, beginning basically today, well, tomorrow, because it's early here, 6:13 p.m. in Arizona and 9:13 in the East Coast. So first thing, and I've been seeing this a lot, and actually it's what I wrote down first, and then information really started to flow as I wrote down a couple of things. And I've talked about this in one of the past few videos, live videos most likely. I keep seeing like an explosion. Like it's not like a bomb, like it's not like war explosion, like like a nuke or something like that. It's more of like a terroristic type of bombing in the location of a city. It looked like a big city to me. My first thought, of course, would be New York. It doesn't necessarily have to be New York. It could also be Seattle, Washington. Not only that, I believe, because things come in threes, that they may actually do this in at least 2 different places, but in different countries. But starting with the United States, because the city that I saw looked similar to New York City, which would make me think, again, a big city in the United States. Only other one that I would put second would maybe be Seattle, Washington, because I have more about that as well, which I'll get into. So an explosion in a city, it was terror to me, like to cause terror, to cause fear, because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with all these protests and everything else that they've been doing this year. It was a bomb. And to me, it was more likely connected to what they say car bomb, but it wasn't a car. It looked more like a van. And it reminded me of what happened way back with, I can't remember his name, in the United States. I forget what state it was in too, where he blew up that building, that government building. That was like a long time ago. It reminded me exactly of that, which would make me also think and believe that what I see is always got to be interpreted and interpreted correctly. And that's where like many mediums, so to speak, don't interpret information correctly. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But after 3 decades, I've become pretty damn good at interpreting things. So that makes me think that this would be a government building, without a doubt, an attack towards the government. Now, instantly, I get it's not a police building unless it would be like a big FBI building. That would be government. Police is a branch of the government. But no, this would be more likely government, like a big government building, federal building in the United States. And again, I'm getting that will be in more than one place. And actually, I just happened to glance over at the chat, which I don't really get to do while I'm talking live. And like 5 people in a row typed Oklahoma. Oh, the Oklahoma bombing. That you're talking about the past one. I thought you meant maybe that's where it will happen. What I'm talking about, the prediction. Means that like literally 12 people just put in Oklahoma. Maybe it will be a repeat of Oklahoma. The date July 22nd came up to me as well, right after that, which would again make me believe and want to interpret that prediction of this truck bomb into, and I just got more info. See, this is what happens to me when I go in mode. I get more info. Give me 1 second to write this down. So this must be somewhat related. So I'll actually put this in afterwards because I wrote a list and numbered But being that just came to me, I'll tell you that next, what I just wrote down. So July 22nd. So that's another number for those who don't know and haven't followed me, that the Illuminati uses constantly. If you look up past mass shootings, bombings, terroristic attacks, they are all pretty much, in the ones that are actually done from the deep state, dark cabal Illuminati, are pretty much almost all of them are done around the number 22, and the date's the 11th and 29th of a month. This memory just popped up as well. JFK, when he was assassinated, was the date, which is really pretty wild. If I remember correctly, it was 11/22, November 22nd, but I know it was revolved around that number. I'm pretty sure it was 11/22 because I looked at that. I'm like, wow, they used the power of that number, like both numbers, 11/22. 11/22/33 are master numbers in numerology. Jesus's number was 33. So, powerful numbers. It's why they utilize those all the time. So it's kind of very interesting. And then also July 22nd, if you add July 7 plus the 22, you got 7, 8, 9, you got the 11 again, just like 9/11 and what happened on 9/11, 2001. 9 and 11, it's an 11 day, you add the 9, 1, 1, and you got an 11 again. See how they use those numbers all the time. That's when you instantly should know without any hesitation that was a planned event and what they call a false flag event. They do it on purpose to cause war or whatever they do. And that's what they're doing right now in the United States, the world, but they're really going after United States more than anything, the dark cabal, because they want United States to collapse completely. So, and that's why we all need to know the truth and have the wisdom of knowing the difference and deciphering the difference so that you don't go into fear and so that we can fight this dark from destroying America, United States, and saving a good part of the rest of the world, because once they take down the United States, that's when they take down everything as far as they're concerned. So that bomb again could be July 22nd because I wrote it right afterwards, but that number came to me 7/22, which I may have probably said in my past videos where I did the video where I put out dates to you. So as I was talking to you, I got a visual of trucks, like a big SUV truck, literally driving fast as possible through crowds of people, possibly most likely rioters, because again, they're gonna they flip everything, they mirror everything, and what they get you to believe is the opposite of the truth. They make the good guys the bad guys and the bad guys the good guys. So chances are, again, this popping up right after I just said that first prediction, it may actually be the same city, or maybe the date July 22nd. Other scenario is they are consistent, like where they happen, days apart or hours apart from each other, or the same day. And literally, for some reason, I see like they get a good head start on like getting as high speed as they can. So it has to be a crowd gathering. So that would, again, in the United States, it would have to be a rioting or protest type deal. And I would think that they would go after the ones that have caused all the rioting and destruction in the United States, and do a event like that toward those people to make, again, the good people look bad. I don't know how people can possibly think these people that are out there protesting, followed up by destroying and rioting this country, ripping down statues, are good. Like, it blows my mind. I even have friends in my spiritual community and circle, or past friends, that are posting these groups on their page and supporting these groups. And I think to myself, like, have you journeyed? Have you meditated on this? Do you realize that you're putting out and posting crap about a group that is funded by the dark cabal and causing this chaos? Like, hello, I'm all about saving lives, and everybody on this planet, all lives matter, like, regardless. And I'm all about that. And I'm all about supporting all races. But you need to watch what groups you support. Anonymous is another one. They're actually a creation from the dark cabal to cause chaos, just so you know. So second prediction I have is storms, big storms. A lot of these predictions are very weather related. And if I remember, after I'm done, I'll post the link down below in the description I did a video a couple years ago where I received a channeled message from Mother Earth. It's pretty powerful. It's pretty awesome. An old friend did the narration for me because I felt like a woman needed to do that, and a spiritual connected woman. She did a great job. I love her for doing that. It's a powerful message. It was in 2016. Go back and listen to that, because what she said and what I put in that message from her video is exactly what's happening. And so storms, water, the end of July, the Philippines came up, China came up, Japan came up, and Australia. Those were the first, like the 4 highlighted cities. Water, again, washes away and cleanses all. We shower with water. We clean things with water. And Mother Earth is cleaning up the planet. And it said that in that message that I just mentioned, that she is going to shake the poop out of people. And she is going to target areas where the dark cabal Illuminati hide out. And that was the big point of her message that I was to put out to people, to let people know that where this happens, this is where the dark cabal hides out. A lot of times in underground, which I just got something else I got to write down and tell you. This is what happens when I do my yearly predictions. And I'm still in mode from clients. I get more information. Thank you, Spirit, for that information. So yeah, storms, water, big time. The Philippines, and this is a lot of water. And I'm thinking that it's probably all 4 of these places over the next few months through the summer into September. But again, September 23rd till November 19th is the last cycle of retrograde in the energy shift that happens in between, which starts on Halloween. That is going to be extremely intense. Y'all that follow me know that I've been saying this for 8 months at least. Look out. If I had no dog, if I didn't have a dog to worry about, and I had the finances, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I would leave this country on October 1st to go to Peru, work with the shamans, and come back November 1st, just to unplug from all that and hide out in the jungle with the shamans. So storms, water. So let's start with the Philippines. It made me think like they've had a tsunami and lots of water issues before. I'm thinking more of a typhoon, but I saw like literally water, and I didn't really see a tsunami. It was more like typhoon kind of water, but I also seen like coastlines on one side of the coast, normal level, and then all of a sudden part of it underwater. I don't know if that will recede. And the other part that I got it would be the opposite side of where they usually would get that, or where people would expect it. I told you, Mother Earth's going to hit places that were never hit before, and very unexpected places. So, say this is the Philippines, and this part faces the Pacific Ocean. This part is that landmass in between that, and the water between that and the other country. It would be on the opposite side where you wouldn't expect it to be, or right on the end of it. China is already getting hit, because that's where the hub of Lucifer began, actually, if you do your research and look at history. And, they're responsible for a lot of the pandemic that started in March and April. And they're responsible for a lot. And it's not just that country, it's the darkness within that. The whole country is not bad. There's good people in China. It's nothing against Chinese people. Chinese people were suppressed by the same darkness, but China is going to get hit hard. And the thing with China is they have this whole plan to really retaliate against America and the rest of the world, causing World War III. And this will be Mother Earth's warning to stop them, prevent them, or slow them down. They're like dark as dark can get, actually. In Japan, I kept seeing the, and I forget what it's called, the big Mount Everest. No, that's not Japan. The big mountain volcanic thing in Japan. That's like, I think somewhere in the middle of Japan. That kept showing up for me. And I'm pretty sure that's a volcano. And I didn't see a volcano erupt, but I wouldn't doubt that would be a part of it. Earthquake related, but I saw water hitting that too. Y'all that saw my tidal wave prophecy prediction, that especially y'all that are went into fear and are all freaked out and worried about it. First of all, going into fear is not going to help you. It's not going to do a damn thing for you. It's going to actually sabotage you and prevent you. Just always hold the intention that, you have soul contracts. If your soul contract's up, it's up. There's nothing you can do. Why worry about it? Worrying is not going to help you. Hold the intention, that you're willing to do whatever you need to do, go wherever you need to go to fulfill your fullest potential in a flow of abundance, joy, and happiness. And then you'll be where you need to be when the time happens. Worrying about it is just going to sabotage you. And I never really, people asked about a specific date on that tidal wave. I never really got a specific date. It all came to me, and I said that prediction a very long time ago, going back to when I started my predictions over a decade ago. I've talked about it several years in my New Year's yearly predictions about New York being underwater. I said it since I started. I've known it since I was about 19, 20 years old. I used to have dreams about it. I used to have dreams about the big waves hitting the Jersey Shore. And beings, this all came up recently, and I put that video out to you, and then the Illuminati cards from 1992 to 1994 that show it would make me think that it's probably sooner than later. The soonest it could possibly happen would be in that window of October, November. But I don't necessarily feel like that's 100% the case. I'm thinking definitely between now and 2025, without a doubt. The other scenario thoughts that came to me with when it would happen would be the year 2023, because it's a 7 year and it's all about the sevens and the prophecy of the Bible. And the last scenario would be 2025. So if it's, later, far off, of course, that information will come to me by the end of the year. So yeah, next one, number 3, Florida. Storms of the new century. Because, we've all heard the storm of the century. This is the storm of the new century. The new storm of the new century, meaning it's like goes above and beyond anything that we in the area it hits has ever experienced. And that's how it's going to continue. It's going to increase. Storms are going to increase every year. It's going to get worse, and they're going to become more powerful, and they're going to increase. Again, I said that way back, especially January 1st, 2017, when we entered a 1 year. Florida storm, new storm of the new century, South Beach, Miami. It builds strength right before it hits. 22 came up with that again, and then the 29th came up. I don't know which month. I'm thinking maybe perhaps going into October, because that seems to be look at Hurricane Sandy. They did that in October. Because that was caused by the deep state. Sorry, I can't read now. It's okay. So basically, this is a hurricane system, a very big one that, they're telling, coming in, and it's going to hit Key West or the Keys, right? But literally, it's going to do a very odd thing that they don't believe is possible, and it's going to suddenly become possible, where it takes a very quick, sharp turn. And also, they're going to throw people off by saying the storm's decreasing in strength. So by the time it hits the coast, it'll decrease and become a tropical storm. That's going to be a lie too. It's going to take a very quick turn and increase strength very quickly beyond the strength that it was to begin with, and hit. And to me, that looked like it was coming in South Beach, Miami area. So that's number 3. Number 4, Texas. Quakes of rage. Quakes of rage. That doesn't necessarily mean an earthquake, by the way. Quakes of rage, Twister, Dallas, broken windows on high buildings. So what I had a vision of is a big city. First thing that popped in my head was Dallas. I don't know. I feel like this happened in the past. I don't know if it was Dallas, but in Texas, I remember, having that flashback of the media putting out the windows in the city breaking. It's like that, exactly. If that was Dallas, then we're definitely with Dallas. But I remember it was in Texas. And I kept getting like a twister of strength. So I don't know, we would think tornado right away. Again, this is an odd storm because everything's going to become odd and out of the ordinary with what storms do and the strength of these storms and where they hit. And as I tell you this, they said where Texas ends up with the quakes of rage twisting around like a twister is a hub of the darkness in that state. So we will soon find out. And the broken windows high, again, is definitely a city. But what happened in the past, that I talked about already in Texas way back, and what I saw this time was probably 10 times stronger. And instead of just some windows being broke out in the past, we're talking like literally the whole tops of the buildings being blown out. I didn't have specifically a date on that. Number 5, Japan, great wave, volcano. I saw a painting, and I don't know art very well, other than a few artists that I like. But I saw a painting that looked like, an artist painting, probably a famous artist painting. It had to be something to do with Japan, of course, maybe a famous Japanese artist. And the painting, by the colors and the energy I got from it, was old. So I would think that this would be an artist that's way down past by now. And I'm not up to par with my Japanese language or geography of Japanese, but it was began with an H. There was an H. I can't even say it, and I don't have it in my mind completely now. And I couldn't write it down because I couldn't get it clear, but it was an H, city with an H, and it kept showing me that volcano, that big mountain, that highest mountain in Japan. So it would have to be revolved around there. And I saw a wave and a painting of a wave, and it made me instantly think of my tidal wave prediction. And if you've listened to that, or if you go back and listen to it, or go listen to it, I talked about everything comes in threes. And they're going to do a domino effect with weather events. I would not doubt that they cause something so huge that it causes multiple tsunamis or tidal waves. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I didn't have a date on that Japan big wave either. I would think the prediction with New York might come before the Japan. That's number 5. And I know I wrote more down here. And before I go to my other notebook, California triple shake. What would that be? That would be number 6. California triple shake. And they slide into the water. Upper part, that includes Alaska and the state of Washington. So again, that would instantly make me obviously be an earthquake. And it said the first thing I got from Spirit is California triple shake. And it made me think I want a milkshake, a chocolate milkshake to be exact. And then I saw a slide, and there was a mountain, basically, and it wasn't huge, but it saw a landslide on the coast. And I saw that part of that mountain or whatever landslide go right into the ocean, and taking a big chunk out of that part of the land of California. It wasn't again gigantic. It was like half a mountain sliding into the coast. And that's the vision I had. And then the triple shake could very likely be that, again, I got Alaska and Washington, of course, California, that's 3. That could be the triple, or it could be 3 earthquakes in a row in that area. Maybe a smaller one starting out in, say, Alaska, then Washington, and then California. And that's probably more likely the case, triple shake. Because, a triple shake, you got to shake one at a time if you're thinking milkshakes. Can you tell I'm hungry? And I'm in the mood for a chocolate milkshake? Anyway, yeah. And that's number 6. Number 7, Washington State, separately. This is the exact message I got from Spirit. Washington State is crude and shall suffer the filth while their poison spread into the waters. And I know, I thought instantly what's going on in Seattle and that just disgrace, and that disgrace of a mayor, governor, or whatever the heck she is. That was just my thought. But when I heard Washington State is crude, the very first thing I thought of was crude oil. Crude oil. And then when it followed up, and she'll suffer the filth, you suffer the filth of crude oil, would make me think there would be some kind of massive disaster revolved around crude oil. Their poison spread into the water would make me think that it would be something along the coast of the state of Washington with crude oil that ends up going into the waters. This came separately, actually, and minutes apart from that. So I don't know if they're connected or they're totally separate. I would think kind of they would be connected, but don't quote me on that. Waters thought to be clean. And then I wrote secretly with a question mark, because I don't know if secretly, like in a question mark, would be maybe it's secretly being done. Waters thought to be clean, secretly contaminated, making many people sick and ill, probably even taking out a large amount of people. Waters thought to be clean, secretly contaminated. That would again make me think that if it's connected to what I said before that in Washington, and I don't know even if it's Washington, like I said, it came a minute or so after the Washington prediction. But you think about it, the crude, suffer the filth and the poison spreads to the water. Well, it could also be something that happens underground, like say an underground oil thing that they push oil through, collapses and breaks, maybe from an earthquake, come to think of it, not realizing that, they have water lines that are public real close by, and it breaks and they meet up with each other. That would be most likely scenario. Then, and I got that waters being poisoned before. I don't know when, and any of my true followers for many years would probably be able to identify that faster than me as to when I said that. But I talked about public waters being poisoned. It's in the Black Snake prophecy with what happened in Standing Rock Reservation. If the Black Snake crosses the river into our land, soon after the waters will become poisoned. It says it in that prediction and in that prophecy. So, and being that just popped up in my head, it's probably connected. And then next, I don't know where I'm at, maybe 7 or 8. I told you I probably have more than 10. That's why I put in the description 10 plus. Fires in the star of the Freemasons in Washington, D.C. So I don't know, it's many you're probably aware, but Washington, D.C. is built, of course, by the Freemasons and the Illuminati. And when they built it, they started off literally making a pentagram star. And I don't know if the White House is in the center of that star, or I think it might be at the top point of that star. Look it up. You can just look at a map and see it's obvious the star. And I didn't even think about that till afterwards, because it said, fires in the star of the Freemasons in DC. That would have to be it, because it's also followed up by all points ignite, all points of the star, 5 points, I would think. Now, if the White House is at the top point, which I don't know if it's at the point or in the middle, I forget. I think it's at the top point. Then I would think that there wouldn't be fire related to the White House. So maybe it's the other 4 points. And ignite surrounding. This is, I kind of laughed at this. So yeah, DC, all points ignite surrounding the devil's den house of white that is really of black. It's the White House. I laughed when Spirit put that in the terms, surrounding the devil's den house of white that really is black. Because again, it was built by the darkness. It was created. I don't know if that refers to who's in the White House. I didn't get that, and I don't believe that's the case. Again, the devil's den house that's white that really is dark. It's just a phrase. So yeah, surrounding too. So it would be surrounding that. So maybe actually the White House is in the middle of the star, but I'm pretty sure it's at the top point. So those rough notes are done, and I can go into my cleaner notes. Next one. And these were even clearly phrased. Oh, Seattle, how dearly you are going to soon pay the high. I need to turn my light on, sorry. There we go. Oh, Seattle, how dearly you are going to soon pay the high consequences and price of your corrupt political structure and to the pain and suffering you have brought to the good people. And then real big capital letters. Afterwards, I wrote truth. And then I saw literally, it reminded me again of the group Anonymous. I saw the word truth written in all capital letters, and then I saw somebody with a mask that looked like Anonymous taking it off. And as it was coming down their face, then that vision went away from me. So I didn't actually see their face. I just saw them taking it off. So that would, again, Mother Earth said she was going to target and hit places to point out the darkness. That would make me think truth in all capital letters, and then somebody's mask being taken off. It's kind of like, you know, the sheep clothing comes off and there's really a nasty wolf underneath. That's what make all of us think that, right? Next one. This one's a long one. Mexico, oh Mexico, your recent shakedown from Mother Earth is that compared to wait, I can't even read my own writing. Is that awful? Mexico, oh Mexico, your ancient shakedown from Mother Earth is tiny compared to what she is planning to bring to the land that houses the worst and the top leaders of your evil doing gangs of murderers who murdered more than those killed in the first big war. I'm thinking they're talking about, you know, what do they call those people? You know, drug runner people. I mean, it would have to be them. And they are big part, like probably top 3 parts of the darkness and the control that they brought to humanity. Yeah. Mother Earth had declared war on your gangs and all who hide in your land, and those who hide those gangs or support them. You will be revealed. That was only equivalent to a tiny nuke. The nukes will continue to get bigger and bigger. Nuke will get bigger until it stops them in their tracks. And part of your country will also soon sink into the waters. And then southern tips I got separately after that. Southern tips. And I didn't have a chance to look at a map to see exactly where that is in Mexico, but southern tips, 7 southern tips, which would be the places that I would expect to go into the waters. I literally saw them completely going in the water, and that would be a permanent thing. Whereas when I talked about earlier, Philippines, I didn't necessarily feel whether that was permanent or just temporary and the water would recede. Mexico, oh, it's permanent. And I'm pretty sure they had a big, gigantic earthquake. Actually, they did just recently. I think it was like a 7.7, which is pretty damn big. And when all this came through, I thought of it afterwards, and I'm like, that's just a tiny nuke. What's the biggest we ever had on the planet? I think an 8.0 for Japan. 7.7 is pretty damn close. Bigger than that and bigger. We're going to end up seeing like 9 points, high numbers, maybe even 10s on this planet in time over the next 5 years. Next one, Africa, my dear, gorgeous Africa. You should not have let in those invaders from the West. Instantly, China popped in my mind. And I know that China's gone in there and really took over all their resources and really has put them in control and screwed them over. That's what China and the cabal do. You should not have let the invaders from the West in. They enslaved you, destroyed more of my sacred land than you even see. But soon I will show you all that in which you do not currently see. So however they're poisoning and, you know, destroying the land of Africa that people aren't aware of, some of it they are, some of it they have no clue what they're really doing. She said that she's going to reveal it in some way. Soon I will send the first and only warning. Stop them now. You became corrupt. Toss them from your cities and your land immediately. The South will become first hit with 3 hits at once. And then I got the elements, earth, air, fire, water. but that's actually four, but she said three hits at once. So Earth would instantly make you think earthquake, no doubt. Um, Air would be, high winds or storms of rage. If you put air and water together, that's the blowing in of tsunamis and tidal waves. And then fire. Not sure how fire, all that would hit at once, fire, but I don't know, maybe some kind, I don't know, maybe something will hit, cause fires or causes fires afterwards. But that's what I got exactly the way it was given to me. The South will become the first with three hits at once: earth, air, fire, and water. And then I got 11-11, but then I wasn't sure if it was 11-11-11. So I don't know if there's got to be a one connection to that. And then I thought, maybe a geographic location, how they do the points. I don't know. I didn't get time to type in 11-11-11 on a map, but I felt like that could have some point in it. The first thought when I got 11-11 would be November 11th. Again, that's when we are in an intense energy shift, Halloween till about the 13th or 14th of November. That's super intense periods. They're 12 to 14 days. So that would be the first thought that I would think. But I couldn't, it wasn't clear if there was a third 11 or whatever that may be. It might actually be significant to more than one thing. And then after I wrote 11-11 and then the third 11 with a question mark, I wrote follow the ones. Follow the ones. So maybe some of our watchers live or that watch this in the replay that live in Africa, from Africa, might understand what the message was from Spirit. Follow the ones, follow the ones. Maybe there's 6 ones altogether, 4 ones, 6 ones. Again, I didn't have time to look at a map or go into any of that like I normally would with predictions. This all came to me today, and I just felt like let's go live before dinner because I really don't have time. I'm super busy, so let's do it now. And I did, and here I am. So let's see what's next. Underground New York City. Oh, I wrote Underground New York City because they wanted me to touch base on this. I'm going to do a video on this because an uploaded, produced video like the last 2 I did. I don't know if it'll be the one I do next. I think the one I do next is going to be based around I Can't Breathe and the whole bug thing that's happened and where that's going. But things show up in front of me all the time. And I don't believe in coincidences. There's no coincidence in anybody's life, but definitely not my life because I pay attention to everything. There's symbolism all around us every day that we need to identify and flow with. Stuff shows up in front of me. There is a movie called The Last Wave. The Last Wave. It's from the 70s. It showed up on my computer. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I went and looked at it and I watched pieces of it last night. I was ready to go to bed and I got so engulfed in it. And it totally connected me to the tidal wave video I did. And it was actually based in Australia, which, potentially I said that Australia would be hit too. I don't know if I got to that yet. Oh, it's at the bottom of this list. I'm almost done. But I was like, that's odd, because I know the prediction I put out there is New York because I've seen visions of it since I was a kid. And the Illuminati cards even show New York and the Statue of Liberty underwater. And I showed you the movie clips. But, maybe that when things come in threes or when this domino starts, because it's going to start, and it's not all going to happen at once, but they will be spaced apart. And I believe it's going to start this year with their plan, and some of it what they do themselves and make happen like they did at Fukushima. And then when they mess with the earth and they do crap like that, they're going to disturb the land masses, and then Mother Earth's going to shoot back with her own stuff. So it should be interesting. And some of what they try to do, like for example, cause a tidal wave, they're going to fail. It's going to not complete their mission, resist, and go different directions. So we'll have to validate that and balance that out when the time comes. So Underground New York City, that's the movie The Last Wave that I watched. And in the very beginning, and I will put this out, you can go look it up yourself. You can watch video trailers here on YT. But as soon as I played the first trailer and what they say in the beginning and how they're underground, I was like, holy crap. I'm like, oh my God, that's New York City's underground tunnels. And I'm sure they have them in Australia. Literally, they're everywhere. They're all over the world. People have no idea how many and how deep down. I mean, we're talking sometimes 20, 25 miles down into the earth are these tunnels. They even have transportation systems under the tunnel in the United States. They have one that goes from the base in New Mexico to the White House, like all all different directions, that has those magnetic trains that travel at hundreds of miles an hour that they won't put out here for us humans, but they use it for themselves to get people where they need to go as fast as possible. So we have them here. They're everywhere because this country's a baby compared to the other countries. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I reminded me instantly of New York City. And we know that there's underground tunnels there, but besides what's there that we know of for the water and all of that, subway, it's like 3 times deeper than that goes a whole nother city, is what came to me. And it's the Dark Cabal City. And maybe that's part of Mother Earth, flooding out the Whore of Babylon, because in turn, it will flood out those tunnels. I would hope, I would think, especially if she causes a little quake there and cracks them open. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating. I wanted to share that with you. Ring, ring, ring of fire. I kept hearing that song. Ring, 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 ring of fire. What is that, Johnny Cash? Which I've talked about many times. I predicted stuff with that many times. We just talked about it in a couple of past videos with the new moon eclipse we just had, which was referred to as a ring of fire. That was like significant of like activating that ring of fire that is all around the Pacific Ocean, and, all the way up to Japan, all that. If you don't know about it, check it out. But I kept hearing that song randomly, and I like that song, but ring, 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 ring of fire. And then I heard clearly and saw a vision of a ring, and not exact direct center, a little bit off from the center, something kind of like erupting, like a volcano, like a bomb almost. Again, Mother Earth related. It wouldn't be a bomb, I doubt it. But it made me think instantly of the volcano that happened in Hawaii a few years ago, which I predicted. People told me I was crazy. And it happened. It happened within months of me predicting that. And I said specifically Hawaii. And so it made me think of that right away. Not that it is Hawaii, it would be equivalent to that one in Hawaii. But this instantly makes me think of things I've said in the past year especially, that I saw volcanoes that aren't obvious in front of our faces coming out of the waters, like rising up, probably from earthquakes and erupting. So possibly that's what it is, if I just had that thought. But right after that, separately, so I don't know, again, if they're connected to each other, they could very well be. New Zealand divided twice, once by Mother Earth and then by their own dark people. Some of those people who reside there and some who actually do not. So, think of elite celebrities that are known to like have big, gigantic, disgustingly houses that are just ridiculous, because who needs that go there all the time, that don't reside there. That would be my first thought. A good way of identifying the elite too, that are part of the dark cabal. So it would also make me think without a doubt that several of these elite who don't live there or reside there will be there for something at the same time, a group of them. So anybody in New Zealand that watches this and knows anything about this, please put it in the comments down below. Send me a message on YouTube, nowhere else, YouTube, because it's the only ones I pay attention to, or my email, office@josephtittel.com, and let us know, please, because I would love to know, and I would love to get more information that I can precisely put this out a little more precise. But that's what I got. They're not reside there. They don't reside there, but there's a large group of them that are connected to the dark deep state there at the same time. So there's got to be some kind of thing that they do there, whether it's a yearly event gathering or something. You know how it's with people like to see who can throw the biggest party and spend the most money, or maybe they have some kind of political meeting there every year, because this prediction again says by their own dark people. The New Zealand will be divided twice, once by Mother Earth and then by their own dark people. Their own dark people would be, again, I would think, the dark cabal that resides within their political structure, and then those who support it, and help those groups of people. And then again, those who reside, some who reside, and some who do not. I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I'm like dying to know what I just asked anybody that knows this in New Zealand, if there's a annual event or something of that sort that these people come and gather for, because that would tell us an exact time and date where something big's going to happen. And I wrote down twice, once by Mother Earth and then by their own dark people. So I would think that Mother Earth would be the first to hit, or maybe their dark people, the cabal, is causing an Earth, a disastrous Earth event like they did Fukushima. That could actually be even more likely. So maybe they're whatever they gather for and group there for. I'm not sure, but I could sit and try to interpret and analyze that over and over, but that's all I got. The last thing I wrote was Australia. So Australia would maybe also have something to do with being shaken twice, and they are being shaken like crazy as well. Again, that movie showed up to me literally last night. So there's definitely something with Australia, and possibly because that movie was the last wave from the 70s, and they showed all the dark tunnels there and where the darkness resides there. I thought that was pretty interesting. And it's like, wow, they talked about and bragged about their little dark tunnels back in the 70s. Told you, they put out everything. They put out everything right in front of you through movies, through the Illuminati cards. Like, they have no fear. They literally feel like they're untouchable because they have been for so long. That's why I can't wait till they fall. So Australia, and being that movie showed up, possibly again, that big wave, one of them can be hitting there, tsunami, wave of some sort, tidal wave. So maybe all three spots, not necessarily at the same time, but like a domino. So, within weeks or days from each other, New York, United States, Australia, and Japan. Yeah, that's very, very potentially highly possible. Last thing I got before I wrapped it up and went to go take care of my dog and connect all this for you and put out this information for this event. 7 in all. First, I wrote down 7/11, the date 7/11, which I already put out many times this year. Then I wrote 7/16, and then I heard very clear 7 in all, 7 in all, 7 in all. I was told that 3 times, and then I continued writing more dates. So 7/16, 16 is a 7-day, so that's a 7/7. 7/25 is a 7/7, so July 25th. 7/22, which I'm pretty sure I talked about that many times as well. 7/22, there was something else that popped up with me about that. There was an event, and I don't know, it popped up on my computer, and I never wrote it down or saved it. That happened many years ago, or there's a movie, actually. That's what it was. I saw a movie trailer that showed up, and I'm like, oh, what's this? Let me watch. There was an event in another country, and I don't know what country it was, but it was a big bombing of a building, kind of like what I described happening in the United States a little while ago. So I remember it said 7/22 was the date that it happened. And I'm like, well, we know who's responsible for that then. So being all this came up the past 24, 48 hours, and this date 7/22, which I mentioned in the past and told you earlier about the dates, the 22s and the 11s, that could very likely and more likely be connected to the bombing event thing. And going back to things come in threes, I would not at all doubt and be surprised, and would be highly likely that would come in threes too, and there'd be terrorist-like events like that in 3 different places in 3 different countries. Maybe going back to wherever that happened. Anybody know? Let me look down here. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? That 7/22 bombing of some building or something in another country. Anybody know where that was and when it was? There's a movie about it. I forget what the movie's called. Had to be years back. Yeah, Marilyn, whatever you just said about specific psychics, I don't mention names, it's not my job to do that, are wrong on a lot of their predictions. If they take them down, well, first of all, I don't take mine down. I put everything down in video, and I do my live predictions yearly live, and it cannot be altered and it cannot be changed. I do that on purpose, and my people know my predictions. Yeah, that's, first of all, they're so not specific, it's ridiculous. I don't know, out of curiosity, many years ago, I went and listened to claims that predicting 9/11. Oh my God, it was so general. You can totally say that, oh yeah, that was a prediction. No, not specific enough for me. A joke, total joke, if you ask me. Um, Too ego driven, way too ego driven. A very big problem within the spiritual community, especially with psychics or, crappy psychics or the wannabe psychics that are phonies. It's sad to me. It saddens me. It breaks my heart, actually. I was probably like that in my younger years, and I probably wouldn't like my younger self at all until I discovered that, and it's just not cool. But thanks. It's funny you said that. I don't know why, but for some reason they popped up in my mind like yesterday or the day before. Uh, Different people. And I don't know why. I could care less. I don't follow anybody else. I don't want to hear any other psychic stuff. I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't watch the psychic TV shows as I did when I was younger. No. I don't unplug. I don't care what all those other people do. 7/22, and then the last dates I got was 11/11, which I mentioned, of course, many times. 11/22 and 11/29, and very often these events that they do and they plan happen like literally right before we go into an energy shift cycle. Uh, Quite often when we're in the actual energy shift itself, that 12 to 14-day cycle, that happens 3 days a year. The next one's July 4th till somewhere around the 15th or 18th or something like that. The one in November is on Halloween. And again, they're 12 to 14 days. So from Halloween to maybe the 13th or 14th of November. So 11/11 would make a lot of sense for them to pull some crap. And 11/22 and 11/29. We come out of that final energy shift and retrograde of the year on the 19th of November is the last day. What happens a couple of days later? The 22nd of the month. So that would make sense that something would definitely happen. And I thought about that after I wrote these numbers down. They all came flowing in, and there actually are 7 different numbers because I told you I wrote 7/11, 7/16, and then I heard 7 and all, 7 and all, 7 and all, and then I kept writing, and then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, 7 dates. How about that? 7 and all, 7 big events, and I heard 7 and all 3 times. So it would make me think 7 and all is consistent with 3 separate things. The 7 dates I just gave you. 7 big events to 7 continents of the planet Earth. That just popped in my mind. 7 continents. So yeah, I guess there's going to be major crap happen. It already is. All 7 continents are going to be affected, which again would be obvious, especially in domino effects. And yeah, so that's what I have for you. Thank you, Spirit, for all that information and flowing it through today with ease and joy. I mean, literally, it came through like out of nowhere, and I'm writing, and afterwards, I'm like, "Ooh, okay, that's cool. That's pretty interesting." And of course, when it happens to me like that, which is pretty much the case, and as I'm doing them, and more stuff comes out of my mouth, as it did, I find over the years that they are absolutely the most specific, accurate predictions of all the predictions I make. That's the way I do it nowadays. And I've been asking Spirit and focus on Spirit because I noticed from my followers putting out timestamps on other video predictions I did and showing, this happened this year, especially 2012. A lot of them happened 2-3 years later. So I've been focused over a year, asking Spirit to try to give me precise predictions that happen, within that 1 year window, a year and a half tops, and please show me with clarity, ease, and joy those that will be beyond that year, and hopefully a period of how long. So I've been really working with Spirit on coming up with very precise timelines for predictions. Maybe that's why I got the list of dates. But again, going back to the whole New York thing and that whole tidal wave, as soon as I would think that would happen could be this fall, because they're going to hit us with 3 waves. And that's the thing. I told you that in my last live video. They are going to hit us in 3 waves, and we are being hit by the second wave. 3 waves, 3 energy shifts a year. What is an energy shift? It is when the divine creator sends a literal tsunami wave of energy across a planet Earth to awaken the people. And that happens in the center of these retrograde cycles. July 4th is the next one. Halloween is the one after that. So 3 waves. They know about this. The Dark Cabal works with numbers, astrology, all that crap. They know about these energy cycles. That's why they utilize it and hit us during those times, because they don't want humanity to awaken. They want you to stay asleep. They want full enslavement of humanity and plan on doing so after wiping out more than 50% of the population. That's what they want to do. That'll be in my next video about the population and depopulation. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's their end line game. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. They literally put it out there in front of you. They put everything out there in front of you. They have no shame whatsoever, dirtball scumbags. I can't wait to watch them fall. They already are falling, actually. That's why these 3 waves came this year. They had to move quickly on things that they didn't plan to do, like so early. And then they had to like take things that they were going to space out further apart in their plans and literally hit us as hard as they could, all within like a year. That's what's happening. The war between dark and light that's going on the spiritual energetic level, and then on the physical level here on Earth, that war just turned nuclear. Literally, dark cabal came in with their nuclear weapons to try to win this war against the light. But guess what? The light has something bigger and better than nuclear weapons, and it's coming. So with that, again, don't go into fear, go into the love and light, hold light on the planet. This has to happen. Prophecy is prophecy. These are predictions, but prophecy is prophecy. It's written for a reason. Prophecy, from what I gather and from what I've experienced and what I studied over 3 decades, prophecies never shifted or been changed. Sometimes there's an A or B with prophecy, like the black snake prophecy. You know, if the 7 tribes don't come together and defeat the black snake, and the black snake succeeds in crossing the river, soon after the waters become poison, and it begins the destruction of humanity. Sadly, the black snake crossed the river last I gathered, and it's sad, but it's prophecy. And usually it's the worst case scenario of A or B with prophecy ends up happening because people have been asleep. The cabal made sure you were asleep so that you wouldn't wake in time to stop these prophecies. Whereas like the whole New York thing and the wave that I talk about, I've seen that since I was a kid. You know, that's prophecy. It's visions that I had with predictions. You know, so to me, you're not going to prevent that from happening. Somebody also mentioned, to go back to that, well, I believe, it cracks me with these people that go on, well, I believe it's this and I believe it's that. Well, if you're psychic like that, then maybe you should do some videos and put that out there. One person said, I believe that, or one person actually said, do you think it could be being hit with a wave of like something else, you know, a chaos or something? I thought to myself, that's what's happening right now in New York City. Twice this year. Both times, the first shift in pandemic was New York City. They were hit the hardest. They're still suffering that. And then the second one that's going on now, New York City is what they're destroying and tearing down and taking apart. That's what makes me think this whole wave thing coming up that I've known for decades, all of a sudden coming up, showing up in front of me, that's what gives me a feeling that it could very likely be the 3rd wave that they're going to hit within October, November. It makes sense. Right before the big election, they did that with Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane Sandy was set by them. It came in on October 29th, an 11-day, and it was right before the election. And if people recall, they took out the power, they took out the ability for people to vote. They do it on purpose. New York City is where the president's from. It's where, like, why not hit them? But at the same time, it's also where the darkness resides too. So that part doesn't make sense to me, that they may be responsible in making that happen. That's the part I'm a little flipped about, because that's where the hub of the darkness is, the Whore of Babylon. That's where it all is. It's where it began in America, as far as that's concerned. That's why she sits upon the waters. It's where the United Nations is. I'm thinking that maybe this hill will be by Mother Earth, because part of the vision that I potential, if you watch the video, is potentially a meteor that hits, which would cause a tidal wave bigger than buildings. Actually, that makes me think of another thing. One of the followers left a comment, and I didn't even approve it because I was like, really, are you an expert? Well, that's just not really likely at all, and a very unlikely case of a wave coming in, washing away New York City, because blah blah. And I don't know the landmass like this person claimed to do, but like that would not be possible for something to come in and go that far into land because of, guess Staten Island or whatever, Long Island, that's before New York City, closer to the ocean, it would be like literally highly unlikely and almost impossible for that to even reach into the city. I'm like, dude, did you watch the video and did you hear how big this wave is? This wave that I saw in my dream, the prophetic dream I had a couple months back, and in the movie clips that I put there, are as big as the skyscrapers. We're talking 1,000 feet tall, 1,200 feet tall. That'll come in a hell of a lot further than you'd ever imagine. A tidal wave. Tidal waves are different than tsunamis. Tidal waves are bigger, they're higher. So just to touch base on that, and again, the visions and spirit show me the prophetic dreams, the prophecies. Trust me, it'll hit New York City when the time comes. So just hold out the intention if you're there and you live there or have family there, just hold in the light and the intention that when it happens, you will be in a safe place, period. And, universe will make it happen. Look at 9/11 and how many, like dozens and dozens of stories of people who felt like they needed to call out sick that day. How many people didn't go to work that day? How many people left because they felt like they needed to go? No coincidences. If it's not in your soul contract, you'll be fine. No worries. You can't prevent it. So it's not going to help you any. Fear is not going to help you any. So anyway, my beautiful, amazing friends and followers and new people, again, be sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell so that you get notifications. The live things right now are still YouTube, but eventually this live stuff will be totally focused towards my Patreons, and I'll do it more there and less here. And then it will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. The past new videos that I've done always go up to my patrons first, and then later are uploaded 24 hours at the soonest afterwards to premiere on YouTube. So get it first, and that will again be spaced out even more soon. My website, josephtittel.com, which is in the process of needing to be totally refaced and renewed, and just haven't gotten to that point yet, but check it out. What else did I want to tell you? I think that's it for today. Thank you. I can tell you that. Remember to celebrate life, celebrate you, and celebrate the amazing you that you are. Love each other, love yourself. You can't totally love somebody else until you truly love yourself first. Amen. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, night, weekend, and beyond. Have a magically joyful, again, day, weekend, and beyond. And we will see you again soon. Spiritman signing off. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. And actually, before I do that, let me just check my chat real quick. Just say hello to my chat people. And I never really get a chance to look over there. My dedicated people in my chat definitely need to be acknowledged. How many of y'all are in here? Wow, holy crap. Wow, there's like hundreds and hundreds of people. That's cool. These live events increase more and more and more each time. I love that. To the people who have left chat, it says on my screen, chat revenue, super chat, cash donations. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I am very blessed with miracles and blessings of abundance, joy, and happiness from the universe and from you for your love and support. Your love and support gives me the ability to do what I've been doing here on YouTube and creating my Awaken Your Spirit community on Patreon. That support is allowing me to do this the way I've been doing it for the past months and since the beginning of this year. Like, I can check in, I can do a lot more, I can spend time. That videos are time consuming. Your support allows me to do that. It allows me to be able to space out clients so that I can actually instead focus attention on this stuff, which I love to do. And it's an honor. And I'm all about getting the information out to y'all. A bringer of light, love, truth, and wisdom. Okay, so I don't see my chat cash people, so I can say thank you. So those that I did not say thank you to, thank you. I am totally filled with infinite love and gratitude. And I must go because I got to go eat, and nature calls. I'm drinking all that water. Love your water. Thanks again, everybody. You have a great night, and I'll talk to you all soon. Blessings.